Hey Ben, I originally had this with a presentation. I'll send you the presentation too, but I could not get the two to mesh for some reason. So I'm just going to start. Golf has always been known as the game played on a 5-inch course, the distance between your ears. It's the sport that relies heavily on your thinking and the next swing you make. But how long has this skilled sport been around? Golf possibly could be one of the oldest sports created. Its origins date all the way back to mid-15th century along the eastern coast of Scotland. The game was a little different back then though. Players would hit a small stone or pebble out in a rough field, playing through sand dunes, rabbit runs, and trails. Instead, instead of our fancy clubs, these players used pretty much whatever was lying around, which was usually a stick or a primitive club. Quickly made popular by royal endorsement, the game spread like wildfire during the 16th century. The only real course available was Leith near Edinburgh, which later held the first international match in 1682 between two Scottish fellows. One was George Patterson and the other was the Duke of York, who competed and won against two English noblemen. In 1744, the Gentlemen Golfers of Leith was created, where competitions were held annually, and a man named Duncan Forbes took it upon himself to write the official rules of the game for the club. When the 1800s came around, the clubs to which the players used was created into a proper club. Instead of sticks, they upgraded to hand-forged iron or wood from fruit trees for the club heads. But the ball itself was redesigned to being made of compressed feathers wrapped in horsehide. Due to these expensive changes at the time, the sport became a little more exclusive to wealthy people. By the 19th century, golf went international. Clubs were popping up left and right. Everyone wanted to try. In 1851, the Prestwick Golf Club was formed, where they later had in 1860 the first British Open, a major national championship which was won by Willie Park, who was then overtaken by Old Tom Morris, the first real legend of the game. Soon after, J. H. Taylor, Harry Barden, and James Braid were known as the Great Triumvirate. By this time, golf went professional. By the late 1890s, the USGA was formed to regulate the game in the US, dealing with anything from rules to the research in grass. It had over 1,000 clubs to keep track of at this time. With all the media and sponsorship, golf went global and was made an Olympic sport in the 1900s. It was during this time that golf started shaping into the game that we see today. Our widely known PGA was formed in 1916, and the golf balls were redesigned yet again. This time the ball gained its rubber core and certain regulated size and weight. Irons received grooves along the face to improve yardage and backspin. Arguments were constant between the European and Commonwealth game and the US game for 30 years, deciding which size and weight was better. By 1927, the Ryder Cup was introduced with players of all nations, but every year between 1935 and 1985, the Americans basically dominated the game. It was then that the Augusta Golf Course opened up in 1933 and gave birth to the U.S. Masters, where all the greats have played. Great players were popping up in all over the place. And Athlon Sports rates these next players I'm about to talk to you about as the best in the game. Ranked as number 5, there's Bobby Jones. He's the winner of the 1930 Grand Slam, the US and the British Opens, and the US and British Amateurs. And he played in 31 majors and won 13 of them and finished in the top 10 27 times. He was also the founder of Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters. Next we have Ben Hogan, the winner of 64 PGA Tour events, including 9 majors, one of the 5 players to possess a modern career Grand Slam, and the only player to win Masters, US Open, and British Open in the same year. He's also a towering figure in equipment manufacturing and golf instruction. Then we have Arnold Palmer, who has 60 PGA Tour wins. He has 7 major championships, 4-time PGA Tour money champ, and first PGA Tour millionaire. He has 15 consecutive years with at least one victory. Then we go into Jack Nicklaus. He's the winner of 73 PGA Tour events, including a record of 18 major championships. He's the winner of a record 6 Masters, and he finished in top 5 in majors in record 56 times, in the top 10 a record 73 times. He posted the lowest scoring average on tour 8 times, and won the PGA Tour Money title 8 times. And he won at least 2 PGA Tour events in 17 consecutive seasons. And then finally, Tiger Woods, possibly the best player to ever walk through the game. He has 78 PGA Tour wins, second all-time to Sam Snead, 14 major championships, second all-time to Jack Nicklaus, only player to ever win 4 consecutive majors, and the lowest scoring average in PGA Tour history, scoring an average of 67.79 in 2000, the lowest single season average in tour history, and he has won a record of 27.2% of his career PGA Tour starts. PGA Tour Player of the Year and a record 10 times. Now, a lot of this is a lot to take in. We have a lot of players, and we have the actual history of golf. There's a lot of courses that are very famous, like I said, Edinburgh and Augusta. This will help any person who needs to know about golf completely. Thank you.